You've been watching the CRS draws, but nothing's moving, and you're starting to wonder if your profile will ever get picked. You keep hearing about new categories, but no one explains which ones actually give you a faster path to PR. I'm Evelyn Ackah, a Canadian immigration lawyer with over 25 years of experience helping skilled workers get approved through Express Entry. In this video, I'll break down the top categories being prioritized right now and what you can do to align your profile for faster approval. So you're not stuck in limbo for months waiting and hoping while others with similar scores are already getting their invitations. Let's dive right into probably the most popular and often the fastest Express Entry category for permanent residents, the Federal Skilled Worker Program. This category is designed for people with skilled work experience who want to move to Canada permanently. Think of it as the main highway for professionals like engineers, accountants, IT specialists, teachers, nurses, and many more. Under this stream, Canada uses a points-based system called the Comprehensive Ranking System, or CRS. Your age, education, work experience, language ability, and other factors all get you points. The higher your score, the better your chances for a fast PR approval. What makes the federal skilled worker category so attractive is, first, you don't need a job offer to apply. That's huge. I've helped quite a few clients in Toronto and Vancouver who were living overseas. They simply had enough skilled experience and education. They did well on their English or French language tests, and they scored high on the CRS. Within a few months of submitting their profile, they received an invitation to apply and had their PR approved in less than 6 months. Meet Sandra, a mechanical engineer from Switzerland. She had 5 years of experience and scored well on her IELTS test. Despite never having worked or studied in Canada, her profile was strong enough to get an invitation the very first time she entered the Express Entry pool. She's now living with her family in Ottawa, working for a leading automotive company. I always tell my clients, if you're a skilled worker who meets the minimum requirements, you should absolutely consider this category first. It's straightforward, it's fair, and if your profile is competitive, it may be fast. Just be sure to pay close attention to the required language scores and get your foreign education properly assessed by a recognized agency. Missing one small detail can result in huge delays. Now, if you're already living in Canada, maybe on a work permit or study permit, the Canadian Experience class is your express lane to permanent residence. This category is tailored for people who have at least 1 year of skilled work experience in Canada in the last 3 years. So if you're an international graduate working on a post-graduation work permit, or you came to Canada as a skilled worker and got a job, this is likely your fastest route to PR. What makes the CEC category so speedy? Well, for one, you're already here. There's no waiting for background checks back home in your home country, and the paperwork is usually more straightforward. Immigration Canada can more easily verify your work experience with Canadian employers. Plus, language requirements are reasonable. If you worked in a managerial or professional job in Canada, you'll already need a CLB 7 in English or French, but for technical jobs, it's just CLB 5. Examples make this real. I recently worked with a client named Laura who came from Colombia to study computer science at Waterloo University. After graduating, she landed a job as a software developer and worked for 14 months on her postgraduate work permit. We prepared her Express Entry profile under the CEC category, and she got a PR invitation in just 2 draws in less than 2 months. Because she lived in Canada, the whole PR process took only 6 months after she applied. If you're in Canada with skilled work experience, the Canadian Experience class is often the most direct and reliable route. The government knows you've already adapted to Canadian life and they want to keep you here. Just make sure you don't have any gaps in your work history and that your job counts as skilled work. There's a clear list and not every job qualifies. Let's talk about a category that doesn't get nearly enough attention, the federal skilled trades. This is for tradespeople, electricians, welders, plumbers, chefs, machinists, heavy equipment operators, and dozens more Canada is desperate for skilled tradespeople, and the federal skilled trades is a laser focus on getting you here quickly, often with fewer barriers than the other categories. Why is this such a fast track for some applicants? Unlike other express entry streams, the minimum CRS scores for the federal skilled trade draw are often much lower. I'm talking 300s instead of 480 or 520. The government occasionally runs dedicated draws just for skilled tradespeople. So if your profile fits, you're competing with a smaller group, and your odds of getting invited can skyrocket. Here's how it played out for one of my clients, Ivan, a welder from Ukraine. He had 2 years of work experience. He passed his English test at a CLB5, and he got a job offer from a construction company in Alberta. Within weeks of entering the pool, he received an invitation through a federal skilled trade specific draw. Because his trade was in such high demand, the documentation process went smoothly, and he was approved for permanent residence in just over 8 months. The key requirements: you either need to have a valid job offer in Canada for at least 1 year or a certificate of qualification in your trade from a Canadian provincial or territorial authority. If you've got experience in a skilled trade, this route is definitely worth exploring, especially as Canada invests billions in infrastructure, housing, and technology. Fourth on our list is the Provincial Nominee Program, or PNP, through Express Entry. Every province and territory in Canada, except Quebec and Nunavut, runs its own PNP. Many of these have enhanced streams that link directly to the Express Entry system. Why does this matter? Because a provincial nomination gives your Express Entry profile a massive amount of extra points, 600-point boost in your CRS score. That means if your score is too low to get an invitation from the federal pool, a PNP nomination practically guarantees you'll be invited to apply for PR in the next round. And the process moves quickly, especially for in-demand jobs or those with connections to the province. Let's take the Ontario Human Capital Priority Stream as an example. Say you're an accountant or an engineer, but your CRS score is only 410. Normally, you have to wait ages or never get picked. But if Ontario nominates you, your score jumps to 1010. That's 1,010, making your PR approval almost a sure thing. Several of my clients, like Arjun, an IT project manager from India, used this exact route last year. He received a provincial nomination, applied for PR, and had his approval in under 10 months. It's not just Ontario, though. British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Nova Scotia, and others also have Express Entry-linked PNP streams. These often target specific occupations in demand or people who've studied or worked in the province before. The criteria change throughout the year based on local needs, so it's worth monitoring carefully. In many cases, having a job offer, studying in the province, or even having a sibling there may give you the edge. But remember, every province has its own requirements, and there's a lot of competition. Make sure your documents show a real, ongoing connection to the province. And if you do get nominated, act fast. Deadlines are strict. Finally, let's talk about something that's becoming more and more important every year: the French-speaking Express Entry categories. Canada is officially bilingual, and there's a growing push to bring in more French-speaking immigrants to live outside of Quebec. If you can speak French well, you can earn significant extra points on your Express Entry profile. This can boost your CRS score and make you a top pick for federal and provincial draws. The government offers extra points up to 50 for strong French language skills, even if your first language is English. There are also dedicated draws for francophones. For example, Ontario's Express Entry French-speaking skilled worker stream targets people who are fluent in both English and French. One of my clients, Amalie, a nurse from Cameroon, was invited through this stream, even though her CRS score was just average. The French advantage put her over the top, and she got PR in 12 months. The rules are simple. Take an approved French language test, like the TEF or TCF, and make sure your scores match the required level. Combine those points with your education, work experience, and any provincial advantage, and you could see your path to PR fast-tracked. If you or your spouse can speak French, don't overlook these categories. They're often overlooked, but they might just be the key to your fast PR approval. Take charge of your Express Entry path. What's next? So, there you have it, the top Express Entry categories for fast PR approval in Canada. Whether you're a professional, a tradesperson, already in Canada, or fluent in French, there's a fast lane for you. The key is knowing which category matches your background and making sure every document and every requirement is spot on. If you found this breakdown helpful, you will not want to miss our next video, Top 5 Reasons Canadian Visas Get Rejected and How to Fix Them. This is an absolute must-watch if you want to avoid the most common mistakes that can derail your application, even if you qualify for Express Entry. Click over now to make sure your chance at Canadian PR isn't stopped by a simple error. See you over there.